Leonardo da Vinci was a painter, architect, inventor, and student of all things scientific. His natural genius crossed so many disciplines that he epitomized the term Renaissance man. Today, he remains best known for his art, including two paintings that remain among the world's most famous and admired, Mona Lisa and The Last Supper. Da Vinci believed that art was indisputably connected with science and nature. Largely self educated, he filled dozens of secret notebooks with inventions, observations, and theories about pursuits from aeronautics to anatomy. But the rest of the world was just beginning to share knowledge in books, made with movable type, and the concepts expressed in his notebooks were often difficult to interpret. As a result, though he was lauded in his time as a great artist, his contemporaries often did not fully appreciate his genius.
Now, let us gather some information about the parachute.
I'm Labdha. Today, I am going to tell you about the greatest invention of Leonardo da Vinci, in other words, parachute. A parachute is a device used to slow the motion of an object through an atmosphere by creating drag. The word parachute comes from a French word with a Latin root para, meaning against or counter in Latin, and chute, the French word for fall. Therefore, parachute actually means against the fall. Parachutes are generally used to slow the descent of a person or object to earth or another celestial body within an atmosphere. Parachutes is designed to create a force that lessens the pull of gravity. So the person wearing a parachute falls down slowly and safely to the ground. Leonardo da Vinci conceived the idea of the parachute in his writings, and the Frenchman Louis Sebastien de Normand fashioned a kind of parachutes out of two umbrellas and jumped from a tree in 1783. But André Jacques Garnerin was the first to design and test parachutes capable of showing a man's fall from a high altitude. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Hello everyone, I am Shaz Ahmed of class 7C, and today I am going to tell you about the architect and engineering of the great Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was an Italian polymath of the High Renaissance who was active as a painter, draftsman, engineer, scientist, theorist, sculptor and architect. So first of all, let us know about his architecture. Across all of the architectural community, Leonardo's touch, his vast output of sketches, immersive and detailed drawings portray his great architect as a visionary. Da Vinci's career spanned across an amazingly broad variety of subjects, with architectural principles to be realized centuries later, adding to his legacy amongst many other mediums. Leonardo da Vinci excels beyond all, a master architect boundless even in time. His prowess, ingenuity, and genius for painting and sculpture often eclipse his equally latent talents that are worth utmost recognition. Da Vinci was an incredible man of science, often characterized with taking logical approaches in problem solving and swiftly implementing solutions to everyday practical problems. These two outstanding sides of Leonardo da Vinci came to life through his witty architectural prowess. From his conception in 1452 until his demise 67 years later, Leonardo da Vinci is renowned for producing remarkable and outstandingly prodigious drawings and designs in architecture, all moving with equal assurance in art, music, poetry, technology and nature. Architecture goes beyond just the surface of what should, exploring new ideas, evoking and grand changes, and challenging that which is the correct and challenging that which is the current reality, and Leonardo's work exemplifies these very principles.
We all know that Leonardo da Vinci was an engineer, scientist, theorist, draftsman, and many more. He was also an painter. So let's have a look on his artistic talent.
The Lady with an Ermine is a portrait of Salisa Gilrani, a young woman from the Milanese court who was favorite mistress of Ludovica Sforza, the married Duke of Milan. The Duke, who was Da Vinci's patron and champion for 18 years, was nicknamed the White Ermine.
This is the painting of Mona Lisa. It is a half-length portrait painting by Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci. It is also considered as archetypal masterpiece of the Italian Renaissance. It has been described as the best known, the most visited, the most written about, the most sung about, the most parodied work of art in the
La Scapigilata. La Scapigilata is Italian for the lady with dishevelled hair. This portrait was painted by Leonardo da Vinci in year 1506. La Bella Principessa. La Bella Principessa means the beautiful princess, also known as the portrait of Vanessa Sforza, a young girl. The drawing was shown as a Leonardo in an exhibition in Sweden in 2010 and was estimated by various newspaper reports to be worth more than $160 million. The Bella Principessa remains locked in a vault in a secret Swiss location.
Hope you got a lot of information about the portraits of Leonardo da Vinci. Thank you.
Now let us know about the life of Leonardo da Vinci by Namit and
Hey,
Daksh.
how are you?
I am fine.
Which book are you currently reading?
I am reading a novel about Leonardo da Vinci.
What is in that novel?
There are 100 facts about Leonardo da Vinci in it.
Can you tell me some of them?
Yes, of course. Leonardo da Vinci was left-handed but wrote from back to front and right to left from the page. For this reason, people for many years were unable to understand his notes.
Oh, really? I don't know that. Is that true that Leonardo's name was not Leonardo da Vinci?
Yes, and his name from the birth was Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, which means son of Piero from Vinci. Do you know, Leonardo never went to school.
Yes, I know that she was taught reading, writing and maths at home. I heard that one of the successful person, Bill Gates, he was inspired by his mind.
Bill Gates even paid $30.8 million for a 500 years old manuscript written by Leonardo.
Oh, yes.
He got a commission work for making a statue in which he spent 17 years for planning, which was destroyed before being completed.
Oh, I didn't know that. Leonardo, a great man, had a disability of dyslexia.
Yes, but remember, disability is the inability to see the ability.
Through his work, Da Vinci combined both imagination and a deep understanding of emerging science and engineering principles to create ideas that were ways ahead of his time. Many of these may be seen in use today, having taken the best part of many centuries to become practical realities. For example, in 1502, Da Vinci produced a drawing of a single-span 220-meter long bridge as part of a project for Ottoman Sultan Bayezid II of Constantinople. While the bridge was never built at that time, a version of it came to life in Norway in 2001. The construction proved the sound design and engineering mindset of Da Vinci nearly 500 years after his time. Traveling exhibitions with replicas of Da Vinci's inventions are popular across the globe. One of the biggest exhibitions is the Da Vinci's Machines and Robotics, a collaboration between artisans of Florence and the Nicolai Group. The exhibition demonstrates how Leonardo's work is more relevant in today's scientific world than when he first conceived his amazing ideas. The exhibition features more than 75 items that have been created by following Da Vinci's blueprints or codices. According to Discovery Place museums, the machines and inventions use only materials that would have been available in Da Vinci's lifetime, including wood, iron, and cord. By bringing his concepts to life in current times, it is easy to see how Leonardo da Vinci personifies what it means to be an engineer. With a defining trait of curiosity, Da Vinci constantly aimed to create new machines for the world and understand the vast complexities of everything around him. Today, thanks to Da Vinci's lifetime of accomplishment, countless creations carry his name as their inspiration. Thank you.
I didn't know that. So now, let us expand our knowledge about one of the invention of Leonardo da Vinci, that is the Great Kite.
Good morning everyone, I am Pushpanjali and today I am going to tell you about an invention of Leonardo da Vinci, and that is the Great Kite. Da Vinci was a prolific inventor. He designed hundreds of war machines for work, but also for theatre and the world of music. Of all the machines he invented, the flying machines were the most incredible. The genius Da Vinci drew inspiration of his work from his direct observation of the flight of a bird. Da Vinci described its dimensions, the materials with which it is to be built, its shape, and how it works. The whole notebook revolves precisely around the construction and use of this machine, the Great Kite. Da Vinci also imparted some flying lessons on how the pilot should operate the machine. The piloting must have been complex. He would use his hands and feet to activate ropes and could rotate, move, and open and close the wings on his own movement. Here's some information about it.
Thank you. Do you know? You won't believe that this great person had a disorder named dyslexia. It is a lifelong condition that affects a person's ability to read, write, spell, and have a good sense of direction. Even after all this, Leonardo made so progress in not only one or two, but so many fields. We can never forget this great. He was, is, and will be an inspiration for all of us. We should always remember that disability is the inability to see the ability.
Again, a big thank you to Leonardo sir for all the progress and development he had made in various fields.